can you share with us one of your earliest memories that stands out to you?
I'm picturing right now those antique furniture from my grandma's house in the city of Hermosillo, Mexico. Like imagine them oak and other kinds of wood, lots of porcelain, those mini porcelain figurines. The smell, stagnant smell of old furniture with the kitchen, with grandmother's perfume.
Oh.
Sometimes it robs you oxygen from your head. Kind of makes you dizzy at a fraction of a second. But you think you get like used to it, and you kind of forget about it after I'll play with my brothers, sisters, and cousins, which were also around the same age, just running around.
The earliest memories is when I misspelled pomegranate the first time, and it was like something like P-U-M-O or something very terrible, and that's literally my first memory. And I mean, I can't believe it, but it's okay. I mean, we all make mistakes, right?
When I was young, actually my brother, he used to sell dates in the street. So when he came back at home, he let me pick the rotten dates from like 1,000 dates. That was very awful, and I was crying. I didn't want to do it, but I was offered to do it. So it's a bad memory, but
So that was your job, was to pick the rotten one?
yeah.
And he would go on and sell the good one?
Yeah, he go to sleep, but I picked the rotten.
My cousin, his name is Gerald, and he stole my scooter, and then the next like 2 hours or so he got ran over by a car and he broke his foot. So that's the earliest I remember, but I was really mad because he stole my scooter, but then I felt sorry because I went to the hospital and he broke his foot. So karma, huh?
This is a really funny one. When I was around like 4 or 5, I had just discovered the F word, and I was in the back of my house, and I don't know, I was really distressed, and my dad, he came to the back and he wanted me to do something, but I didn't want to do it, so I just said fuck it, and then that was my first beating of my life. But it was very memorable because I felt like the F word was very liberating. And just in the moment, it was like a feeling that I didn't want to do it, and it would make me happier to say the F word, so I said it.
One of my earliest memories, when I was probably 3 years old, we had a wood-burning stove, and my mother was stoking it for the evening, and she put in some kerosene and it exploded on her face. And she put on a salve called Beauticent Pictrit. And then she came to kiss me goodnight. I was in my little crib, and it looked to me like she had relish spread all over her face. It was scary, and then it was funny.
Okay, so when I was like a baby, like 2-3 years old, I was lying down on the bed, and I placed myself in a weird position, and I just kept thinking to myself, okay, years from now, I'm gonna remember this very memory of me lying down weirdly on the bed, and that's my earliest memory.
I remember like when I was about 2 years old, crawling around on the floor, just around like in my house, just kind of wandering.
Why do you think it stands out to you?
I don't know. I think there was a lot going on in my house at that time, and so I think I just was kind of picking up on the energy in the house.
What kind of energy was it?
Not good, negative, family trouble. When I was that age, yeah, my mom was going through a lot, my dad.
Seeing my friend commit suicide when I was young, I guess that's probably like one of the things that stuck with me my entire life, and I don't know, it's never went away.
So it's crazy because I can answer this immediately because it was so traumatic actually, but my earliest memory is getting into a really bad car accident. My mom was hit by a drunk driver, and And I remember being in the car crying, and we had all of these people coming up to the windows, and I was hysterical, but I was the only one who wasn't hurt, so I don't know why, honestly, I was crying that much, but I was 4. And I remember being put in the stretcher and having my neck held down, and I was very confused, and that's my first memory.
I think my parents putting me to bed one night, and I could see them both in the doorway.
Why does that stand out to you?
It's one of the few times I actually saw them like hugging, I guess. I don't know.
It's a scary memory when I was in California for the first time, and my family was walking in front of me. They were like busy already, and the elevator door closed in front of me, so it started going up like 12 stories. So I thought it was gone forever, and I was gonna just keep going up. So I fell asleep in the elevator because I got so scared. Well, more like fainted. And then when I woke up, I was in the car, and they didn't even explain what happened. That's pretty much it.
Shoving a bar of soap in my sister's mouth and making her puke and poop in the tub I was in as well. So it's like my favorite childhood memory. That's all I got. She like stood up really fast and she scraped her back. My mom was so mad. It was such a disgusting bath after that. It was like blood, poop, and vomit. I have a twin sister, and we were always together. We were inseparable growing up. And then one day we went to daycare, and a teacher tried to separate us, so I kicked her, and I got in trouble. But from that day forward, we weren't separated after that. So shows her.
When my sister was born, I was 6, and I clearly remember the day she was born, and I held her. It was the most amazing feeling in the world.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. Is your sister here? Is that your sister?
Yes,
that's her.
I used to drink soda and like put it in my shirt instead of my mouth. That's like the earliest memory I remember of myself.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like I used to just drink soda and put it inside of my shirt instead of my mouth. Like instead of like opening my mouth up and pouring it in, I would like pour it into my like chest, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's all I can remember from back then though. That's the earliest memory I remember.
How old do you think you were?
I was like 4 at the time, so it was acceptable. I was only 4 years old, so.
The first time I rode my dog, sat on his back and rode my dog. That's probably, I rode him around the backyard, and then I fell off and he came back around and laid down next to me and licked me, and I got back on him and we rode around a little longer.
Listening to Billy Joel's Uptown Girl while playing the kazoo to it in my He-Man drawers.
I was around like 3. And my papa, my grandfather, he had this like huge garden. My child imagination thinks that like everything under the sun grew in there, but I'm sure it was like 5 things. But I just remember him handing me like mint and being like, eat this, and I'd like chew on the mint, and then he'd be like, hand me a tomato and be like, eat this, and I'd like eat the tomato, and like I just remember like trailing after him in the garden, like eating whatever he handed me and like loving it and thinking it was like the coolest thing in the world.
It involves me and my dad.
Okay.
I was probably like younger than 3, but he's laying on the hammock and I'm laying on his chest and he's playing the guitar in our old backyard, and it's a really good memory.
There you go. Yeah. Why do you think that one stands out to you?
Because it's just drawn real close to home, you know, real personal.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode. I just wanted to come on here real quick and let you guys know that next week, August the 16th, will be a pretty special day because it'll mark exactly 1 year since I uploaded my first episode of the project here on YouTube. Since it'll be a pretty important day to me and hopefully for you guys as well, I thought I'd do an episode that's different than what I usually do. So I have a little something planned. I haven't filmed it yet. Hopefully it'll turn out good. But just remember that instead of posting Tuesday next week, I'll be posting on Thursday, August the 16th. For those of you who've been watching since the beginning, you will never know how much it means to me. So thank you again. And for those of you who just started watching my videos, thank you as well. I hope you all find a reason to keep coming back and watching my episodes here on YouTube. And that's it.